In 2013, I coined the name Grampian, and I gave it to your host, Jim Tracy.
Folks, welcome back to the Grampian. This is the podcast where Grandpa chats with champions. And I have to tell you, I was at an event earlier this year in Albuquerque, New Mexico, and it was called Thrive. It was put on by the National Speakers Association. And I stopped by a booth and they said, "Oh, well, you should see Christa." And then I went to another booth. One was for a book, one was for another speaker, and one was for a software company. And they're like, "Oh, but Christa this and Christa that." And like, third time, we're done. I got to meet this lady. I don't know who she is, but I'm going to go find out. So ladies and gentlemen, folks, welcome with me, Christa Haberstock, to the Grampian. She is the founder and president of the C Agency. And hey, how are you doing? Welcome to the Grampian.
I'm great. Thanks for having me. I love doing these things, and they always surprise me. I go, sure. What do you want to know? What could possibly be so interesting? But I'm thrilled to be here.
Well, you know, as I look at what has become the C Agency, I see it's more than a talent agency. It's more than speaker training. You have kind of, when I hear your name that often, it indicates to me that you have become a thought leader inside a space that's pretty defined. And I mean, how you must have a lot of energy to get around to have that many people talking about you.
Oh, I just, I think I create ripples. There will be people laughing at that. And so,
right on.
Yeah, you know, I really value authenticity, and that comes with a fair amount of risk. You know, so I may say things that someone else might just be thinking, or maybe they disagree with, but I just have a real strong need to speak what's on my mind. So I think that probably, I don't know about a thought leader, but maybe like a thought yeller. Maybe that's more accurate.
Well, at the Grampian, we actually love big ripples, and we don't mind rocking the boat and making a few waves ourselves. So you're in great company.
Awesome.
Here. So as I just kind of perused your website real quick, and Best of America Awards, Stevie Award, Best Places to Work, Inc. 5,000, CMP certifications, accreditations, up the yard, and then I see you're one of 11 people in the world who's on the IASB Board of Governors.
Yeah, it's an honor to serve. This is my 5th year. Ooh, stop at 6. I'm done. I'm second term, so my first term kind of overlapped with 2020. And there was anyway, 2020, we had work to do with the board, but it wasn't really, we weren't really sure what we were doing work. Sometimes. Yeah. So it was, it was just such an odd time.
So tell us what the IASB is, because it's just another acronym, unless you're one of 11 people in the world who's a governor.
Oh gosh. Well, International Association of Speakers Bureaus. Here's a fun fact that you might not hear everywhere. It used to be called IGAB, which I wish we would go back to that because I think it's great. It was the International Group of Agencies and Bureaus. So anyway, IASB, International Association of Speakers Bureaus, it has grown a lot. Like we've seen a huge growth uptick since 2019-ish. Like it was founded, I think, in 1986, if I'm not mistaken. And, just a bunch of like-minded people. We used to be an industry that was very suspicious, I guess, and the trust wasn't as good as it is now. And I think with anything, when you get people together and they get to know each other as people, trust goes up. So that's what we've really seen happening. Sure. Yeah. So we've had a really good success with that. So it's a great organization for, we have speakers bureaus, of course, as the name indicates, but we also have speaker management companies, speaker management agencies like C Agency. And that's a growing number. And then we have we've got members from truly all around the world.
Right on. Okay. So you are restoring trust in an industry that's like more than a turnaround. Mm-hmm. That's a huge job, but it's a change of mission really for the entire organization, is it not?
It's, everybody has really stepped forward with the association in leadership, and just every year builds on another. I think I'm an 11-year member or 12 or 13. I don't know. It's been, or maybe 15. Wow. I don't know. Anyway, it's been long enough to remember. But, it's just, I think when you get people in charge who really model that kind of behavior, then everyone who comes after really does that. And I think in any organization, that's true. So IASB is no different. And I think, obviously I highly encourage speakers bureaus and speaker managers to become involved, not just for the education, not just for the networking, which are the two big things that people like in associations and education groups like that, but to like, and I'm sure you saw this too, Jim, but I'm a big fan of elevating the industry. And so you can elevate the industry with really adhering to professional standards, which IASB is really big on. And I'm one of two people overseeing that, like the ethics group. So the professional standards are very important to me. So that's the one thing I love to get new members and say, good, we're all playing by the same rules, right?
Yeah,
because that'll elevate our
Rising
industry.
tide lifts all boats.
Yes, I like that one too.
Yeah. All right, sweet. Well, I love when people give back to something that has given them. And when I relate it to the wireless industry, I give back to the wireless industry because, hey, everybody I know in the wireless industry has fed their families for a few decades. Based upon what we do the right way. So good on you.
Thanks.
Yeah. So some people would say that you're blurring the line between the way it's always been done and perhaps the way you're doing it.
Breaking things.
So why would that hold water?
Well, authenticity. I started C Agency in 2009. And when I started, I'm an elementary music teacher from Canada with...
Oh, yeah, we're going to get into that. You're not getting off on that one.
No. But, the point of me bringing that up is that when I started in the industry in 1997, we can go back to that in a little bit if you want, but I don't have any business experience. I don't have a business degree. It's all street smarts with marketing and with the business that I do. So I didn't know to sit down and write a business plan. I didn't know how to do this. And everyone said, well, you got to write a mission statement. Well, how do you write a mission statement? And so I thought, well, it's just me. And chances are I'm going to do things the way I would do them. And so I guess my company does things this way. So what I did, and it was kind of, I thought it was genius. It has worked out very well. I actually did just a couple of online personality assessments. And I went, okay, so C Agency is, and I pulled all the words from the personality assessments. And I went, this is who we are because it's who I am. And so when I started the company, I just really remained at the dead center core of who I was and built my company up around that. And maybe that's not everybody, I don't think I did.
That's awesome.
Yeah. I got a really, really, really nice email one time. I know where I was when I got it. It's really going to make impact. Like it was one of those core memories. I was standing just outside of I had a little office off my bedroom and standing just outside of that office. And I pulled up my phone and I had an email from Seth Godin, who is like total legend. And I just love this guy. I love the way he thinks. He said, I just ran across your website and he said, thank you for being different. You have removed the corporate eyewash of websites in our industry.
Wow.
And I went, Seth Godin thinks I'm doing things differently. The purple cow, himself,
Yeah.
So,
perfect.
And so just in and of itself, by being a little bit different, I think probably makes people talk more, whether it's controversial or not. So I just think just being 100% authentically myself. My marketing reflects that. My branding reflects that because I don't know any other way. If you want to know the truth, I don't know how to run a big boy company. I just know how to run the, my mission. And that's what this is.
Yeah, but that is the essence of the entrepreneurial journey. Because every business that was built by a person who's never really done it before. Me,
and if you would have told me that,
people we talked to,
I know. I thought all these people knew what they were doing. I still do. I don't. Like I have a girlfriend when she had her first baby. She said, "I keep waiting for the real mother to come and pick the baby up." And And so every time I had a baby, I was like, no real mom yet. Looks like I'm up. And I feel the same way about my company. I'm waiting for the real person to come and run my company. But nobody's come yet, so I think I'm in charge.
Well, it happens when you grow. It happens when you become a grandpa. It happens all the time.
Yeah.
And because I've never been a grandpa before, now I'm a grampy, and I don't know how that happened, other than my grandson named me that. But
did he? That's
so
great.
As I look back and I look at what you've done, C Agency is a talent agency. So you represent people, but your real customer is not those people. Your real customers that you're trusted to make happy are the people who hire you to find a speaker, aren't they?
So excellent conversation. We actually have just kind of a collective of people who do what I do. So there's some managers, there's some speaker bureau people, there's some consultants, but we're all in the events industry, all speaker events. Mm-hmm. And this actually came up, I'm losing the words, not syntax. Anyway, semantics. There it is.
Fiduciary responsibility.
Oh God, no, you keep that one. That's a grown-up word.
Okay.
No, the semantics that's around kind of like who's our client. So there are some agents on there who represent speakers that call them their clients. And so I voiced my opinion, and I said that feels like, to me, it feels like it puts me at a less of a partnership role with my speakers. Like,
yeah.
And yet, like, two things can be true at once, right? So I think 100% they are my clients, but yes, I am 100% their partner. And then my event professionals who I book events with, they're my clients, but they're also my partners in the event, kind of. And my speakers bureaus, who is actually my number one client base, they are definitely my partners, but they're also my clients. So yeah, we have a lot of clients to sort out.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. They're not mutually exclusive, though. You can make more than one party happy and make more than one party important.
Oh, let's hope so. Let's hope you can make them all happy.
Yeah, exactly.
Yes.
So then you rolled that up into like speaker training, and that really, I want to dive back into education, because you were a music educator, and now you've taken I'll use the word loosely, but children, and now you've put children in an adult's role, and they still act like children sometimes. So you have
Don't we all?
Babysitting, therapy, and even use that word, but speaker training.
Yeah. Yeah. So going back to when I started C Agency, actually, my real goal was to help celebrities, believe it or not, figure out what, to teach them about the speaking industry. Because what I was coming out of from the Speakers Bureau was that there was a woefully short list of actual celebrity name recognition, marquee names who knew anything about the speaking industry or knew enough to keep themselves out of trouble. There were just a handful, there were only a handful of them, and they were a handful because they didn't know the nuances of don't change this 10 minutes before you speak. You know what I'm saying? It was just you need a good demo video or a speaking reel. What I wanted to do at the beginning was consult celebrities on the speaking industry, because every time I booked one, they loved it. They're like, I want more of these. And so I'm like, I could teach you how to get more of these. But then what I learned very quickly after working with a few celebrities, I was told the following, that celebrities know how to sign the back of checks. They don't know how to sign the front of checks.
Exactly.
And I went, I'm not going to make money of that. Anyway, so I switched very quickly. So that's the consultative part. So I tell you that just little, anecdote to show you that consulting is at my core, teaching is at my core. And that's what, it's no shock that it came back around in speaker therapy and now with bookable speakers.
Yeah. Awesome. I have some experience because I was the head of a national trade association, and on two separate occasions we booked politicians. We booked our former politicians. We booked an NFL coach.
Okay.
And then we booked Lou Holtz. And
he knows what's up.
The NFL coach was the unnamed NFL coach was a horrible speaker. I mean, he didn't even tell great stories, and he had all this material to draw from. And then you get little old Lou Holtz going up there, and he just crushes it.
You know what? It's
a
funny
celebrity doesn't
him.
make a speaker.
I called him the silver bullet of speaking because he knew he knew it all. Like I'm like, he's the only one I would vote. So that's really interesting you brought that up because that's exactly right. That's my experience too.
Oh, and he delivers the same thing every time, but he delivers it with style and grace and perfection. He knows who he is and what he's laying out.
He knows what he's doing there. He's hired for a job. He does it right. No, I know. That's cool. I'm glad that you had that
Lou
experience.
Gets there early and stays late and signs autographs and takes pictures and does all the customer things that we love. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Very cool. Yeah. Good experience.
So be careful when you hire a celebrity because you might get who you asked for.
The best thing to do really is just to do a Q&A or a fireside chat or something. Yeah. I have plenty of stories of celebrities that should not have been put behind a podium.
I bet you do. I bet you do. So you started in elementary music education in Edmonton, right?
Yes.
Or in or near? Okay.
In or near Edmonton. Yeah, that's fair. Yeah, I mean, it was Edmonton. That's where I lived. But of course, a teacher just coming out of college, I had to commute.
Okay. And then you're working up there, and somehow you end up in
Dallas,
Texas.
Selling speakers, right? No.
I mean, that's a long way apart.
It is. Yeah, it is. It is.
And how did you get to Texas?
So my husband at the time, we had our eye on school in Dallas for a couple of reasons. Great school, but also my brother and sister-in-law live here. And so we decided, Dallas would be great. Let's do it. Being woefully naive and unaware of how hard immigration would be at that point.
Yeah.
So,
especially to a place where they talk so funny.
Yeah, I know. They always thought I had the accent. I'm like, joke's on you.
Yeah. Yeah, right, eh?
Right, yeah. So I secured a teaching job. He got his student visa, but you can't just have you have to have means of support. And I was supposed to be the means of support.
Sure.
Well, I couldn't get a visa for teaching. I just couldn't do it. And we had moved out of our house. We were living in our friend's basement. I mean, we had put off his schooling for 6 months. I mean, it was stressful because we were just in limbo. And over Canadian Thanksgiving, which is a month prior to American Thanksgiving, so sometime around October. So my brother and sister-in-law, Vince and Michelle, came to Edmonton, and we got together as a family. And I was telling Michelle all of this stuff, and she was like, there's got to be a way. And I was like, I don't know what it is. We're just waiting for immigration. Well, she and Vince came back to Dallas, and she called me and she said, hey, I just fired somebody. I think I can get you to the States with a work visa for this thing that this girl in State for me. I was like, can you really? Well, heck, she sure did. A week later, I was in Dallas. And I walked into her business, which was a speakers bureau. No idea.
Oh, wow. No way.
Yeah. I didn't know what it was. Yeah. And my brother, Vince Pacenti, he's one of the most famous speakers in the industry. So he's an NSA Hall of Famer, and he's in Canada, the CAPS Hall of Famer. So he's Hall of Fame in 2 countries, New York Times bestselling author now, written several books, and he was an Olympic athlete in 1992. So what he did is he poured his, all of the stuff that he learned to get to the Olympics in 4.5 years. He poured it into his speaking. So he's made an unbelievable career for himself. Anyway, did Christa understand any of this? No. So I walk into a speakers bureau and Michelle says to me, hey, do you know what we do? And I said, I have no idea. She said, just sit in the file room. So this is 1997. Sit in the file room, go through all the contracts or whatever it was at that time. And I'll take you for lunch and you can tell me what you think it is. So we went for lunch and I said, I think you look for event planners that are looking for speakers, and then you try and sell them a speaker? She's like, you're hired.
You are now an expert in the field.
You are now an expert in the field. So I actually started planning showcases. That's how she got me here on the work visa, was because it really was a consultative job. So that was good. That was good. And then I got into, time went on, I got into selling speakers. I remember she said to me, I said, I think I'd like to try selling speakers. And she said, you're looking at the numbers that the guys are putting up on the board, aren't you? And I went, yep, I would like to make some of that money, please. And so I learned everything. Like, I can't even tell you, I didn't know any of the sports. Like, Lou Holtz would lost on me, of course, like names like that, like all of the sports legends, everything that wasn't Canadian, like I learned it all. I'd never had a sales job, which, it makes you learn boots on the ground. It's 100% commission, which was pretty rough. Yeah. So it was not easy. Worked my butt off and was top producer, like I think 1, 2, or 3 for 8 of my 10 years. Had a couple babies.
Hey, you eat what you harvest, and you took the lesson quick.
Yeah, well, that's it. With a husband that at the time who was in school, and I was the only breadwinner.
Yeah. Oh, right on.
Yeah, well, not afraid of hard work.
Work or starve. Produce or starve. Yeah.
Yeah, that's right.
That's
so there you
awesome.
Go.
So now you've developed this agency, and you've got all these little kind of subcategories, and you're rolling through, and life is good. And then somebody says 2020.
Yeah.
So describe what happened.
So in 2020 there was a 1-2 punch for me. 2020 was actually the 2. The 1 came in 2017, and I won't give too many details, but my company was a $4.2 million company. We had 31 speakers, and in approximately a couple weeks, went to 3 speakers and about $100,000. And I had 10 people working for me, and they and the speakers left all at once.
Oh, that's a big punch.
Yeah. So,
yeah.
Everyone asks why. And I mean, there's someone out there that probably knows why.
Yeah.
People have asked me why, and it's one of those questions now. I see it as a combat word. I'm like, why is a combat word?
Yeah.
Sometimes you just got to go, it is what it is.
Yeah. When? When are we going to turn it around, and where are we going?
Now it's like, how do we do this? And I had a lot of faith and belief in myself that, I did it before, I'll do it again. So,
that's entrepreneurial zeal. That's like going to get it done. I don't know how yet, but that's where we're going. I'm
pretty hard to kill, honestly. I found out.
I'm good to know.
So I don't know what to tell you. Like, I did say when it happened, I did say to a good friend of mine, an industry colleague, I said, I know God didn't do this to me. He did it for me. And I know that. I knew it then. And in hindsight, I know it now, because what happened needed to happen, and it needed to happen for me. Because now I'm so mission driven. I work with speakers that, I'm not going to say I didn't believe in the speakers that I represented, but if I had to choose on things that I would want to see the world do better at, these are the people I'd want at the helm of that. So the speakers I'm working with right now I share such a passion with what they're doing and how they're doing it. And I am so invested in their success that, many of them were with me. Like, I met many of them after 2017 and 2018 and 2018 and 19. So we've all ridden the storm. And listen, I mean, I've got a couple speakers that I've had since day one with the agency, right?
Oh,
like,
wow.
Yeah. So
they're family now.
Oh, 100%. When people ride the storm with you like that and go, I don't know what's going on over there, but you don't have to worry about us. So that was nice. So 2019, saw a little bit of resurgence. I was like, all right, okay, I think, you know what? I think like I figured it would take a couple of years, and then 2020, and then everything shifted. Like, I mean, everything shifted, as you know.
Everything died.
Oof. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I describe it. I don't know. You know that old kids game, Shoots and Ladders or Snakes and Ladders?
Huh?
Yeah.
Of course. I've got grandkids.
Okay. Well, they still play it. Good. No, I'm telling you, that was it. Like my entrepreneurial journey has so been Shoots and Ladders. You know, it's like, the agency really grew quickly. We grew very, very quickly in the beginning, because there wasn't a lot of what I was doing, like the consultative approach to speaker management. There was I don't know if there was any, and all I know is that I was the fourth speaker management company in. So if there wasn't a lot of it. Now there's a lot of managers. A lot of them are taking the consultative approach. So I grew quickly, and it was by and large really healthy. It's just not too fast, not too slow. But then recovering has been pretty slow, because it's a different world right now in the industry after 2020. Totally different now.
And the pie is now maybe bigger, simply because we've got virtual added to the events that are coming back. Isn't the pie a little bigger now?
The pie's plenty big, I will tell you that. It's a multi-billion-dollar industry, no matter what. Yeah. I think we have historically, as an industry, when I say industry, I mean like booking speakers or speaking, that kind of thing. I think we've done a pretty terrible job of expressing our value, because, it's nice to be just like kind of talking this through, because I've been thinking a lot about like, where is our value as a speaker manager or as a speaker, or, well, speakers bureau or speaker manager. Let me put it that way. And I think speakers bureau specifically, the value in a speakers bureau, we've always said, and I say we because I did it for so long, but it's like, if something goes wrong, we're here to fix it. Don't you worry about anything. And no event planner goes in going, I know that something's going to go wrong. Like, they're not thinking about that. They're
What's
thinking,
my contingency plan? I don't have one.
like it's on the list, but it's not why someone does something, right? So I think speakers bureaus are much more than insurance, like on an event. So I think that the value in working with a speakers bureau is so different than that. It's like, well, I'll tell you what, I know a lot of event planners think they're going to save money by not working with a speakers bureau.
Yeah.
And if that's one message we could get out there, like, I'm telling you, if I was king for a day, I would blast it from the rooftops and say, everyone has to tell everybody this, that it doesn't cost you any more to work with the speakers bureau. If you go direct to the speaker, there's higher risk, but it's like, why would you not get a free expert? Like, you can have a free expert. So that's where, like, if I was, I guess I can say queen for the day. If I was queen for the day, that's what I would do. I would make sure that people knew the value.
One of the things that I learned early in the game was that if I wanted to break into what I considered a busy market, I just had to make myself available. And I'd say, if you have something bad happen with the speaker, two things. Number one, I have my own jet and I can be there in 2 hours if you're in the Rocky Mountains. And number two, I have fresh material that I will give you, and I will bail you out. And people are like, really? Oh, that's cool. And
you had me an airplane in the Rocky Mountains.
I became an insurance policy.
Oh, how funny. Yeah, that's not bad.
A free insurance policy.
There it is. That's good.
Yeah. So, but as I look at you and I look at what happened when we hired a highfalutin celebrity to come in and speak, and then I see what you do, and I see the difference is mission driven. And if I look at the people on your website and I look at their missions, it's just got incredible clarity. What then is your mission?
Grampian wants to make Christa cry. Well,
No, I get it. I got a mission. I want to create generational harmony. I see this discord that happens in our
yeah.
communities, in our workplaces, I mean, everywhere. And I'm like, this doesn't have to happen. That we can cure this by doing a couple of cool little things. And when you inspire people to change, it's awesome.
Yeah.
And what's your mission?
As I was chatting through Sea Agency and concepts with a really good girlfriend of mine, we had both worked at the Speakers Bureau, and I'd mentored her. Like, and she was the one who drove me to the hospital when my second baby was born. We're that kind of close, and so you get really raw and honest at those kind of moments, and just trying to figure out what I wanted to do. And I said, I just want to do good, have fun, and make money. And for a long time, that was what we did. Like, that was what Sea Agency was. It's still, in a lot of ways, do good, have fun, make money. In 2017, I stopped making money. And in 2020,
which is kind of an important component.
Stopped making money. And it made me rethink the whole, at the heart of what I was doing, I mean, of course, tactically, do good, have fun, make money makes a lot of sense, right? But the do good, have fun, make a difference became more important to me. And it was during 2020. And I mean, a lot of speakers pivoted to virtual. The speakers I had on my roster just were like, they all had something else going on, that they all just kind of went, oh, I'll just do this and I'll wait for the speaking industry to come back. But if they don't speak, I don't make money. So there was a lot, Jim, a lot of soul searching that went on. And, my friends were saying to me, please, we cannot see you. Like, I had to pivot. Over 2020, I bartended. I had single mom, right? Single mom.
Yeah.
I bartended. I worked selling memberships at my gym. I was knocking on doors, roofing, and I was still trying to run the agency. And so I was working for jobs to just, see another day.
Grocery money.
That's it.
And maintain your business. I remember clearly my wife and I running down the sidewalk to the mailbox. Yeah. Because we needed to make payroll. And she would get on the right side, I would be on the left side, we'd pop it open, and at some point, somebody would throw in a check early, and we'd be like, whoa, when we combine all of our savings account and the check that came in early, now we can make payroll on Friday. Wonder what we're going to do next week.
That's it. Yeah, you lived it. You absolutely lived it. And here we are at the other end of it. We live to see another day. So all of those things, I'm sure, clarified your mission. Well, it really clarified mine too. I did try to leave several times. The industry. Not kidding. Like, because my friends in Canada were like, we cannot watch you suffer like this. Like, what happened to you? Like, they, of course, they took it very personally what happened in 2017. And, they, of course, wanted to fight every one of them. But they also wanted me to quit. And I said, no, this is good. This is what I do. And 2020 came, they're like,
you must know some hockey players up there.
Yeah, that's right. That's what we do in Edmonton. We fight people if we get mad.
Right on.
And so, long story short, 2020 galvanized that this is not just a job for me, because I had jobs lined up that were like that. And I've always asked God to take it away if it's not what he wants me to do. And so I would pursue things, and I call it throwing a spike belt down, because it'd be like, and then I'd get flat tires and be like, seriously? Yeah. And so I realized, you know what? I keep getting pulled right back in. And so what are you going to do when this is your legacy? You make it a calling. Yeah. And this is my mission. And it's to see, to actually be the guy behind the guy who is changing the world. That's what I know I can do. When you look at the influence of, so I did some rough math. So being in Texas, being in the buckle of the Bible Belt, being a card-carrying Christian, I'm there every Sunday. We got a big mega church where we live. And the biggest mega church in America has tens of thousands of people. Now, I'm not sure what, I think it was 48,000 people every Sunday. Yeah. Something like that. And that would be kind of a static group of people, right? Like there'd be people being added, some people leaving, you know, some additions, some attrition. So mostly the same people. When you look at one busy speaker, remember when they used to do 100 events a year? Anyway,
man. I can't imagine.
Yeah. But let's say, you know, they do 50 events a year. You do a rough math on that. 50,000 people, just 100 people in the audience. They have a speaker that I represent is going to have just as big a reach, if not bigger, than
a mega church. Yeah.
Than a mega church. So boy, do I need to be careful in the people that I'm propelling onto those stages, because I have a responsibility to people's mental health, their stability, to their family, their generations, like you would say. And so I felt very strongly like, you just run those numbers. You better take this seriously. Not just me, the speakers that I talk to and I consult with when I do bookable speakers, I go, your influence, this is not a job. If you see this as a job, get out, because what you're doing,
it's too hard. It's too hard to be a job.
It's
way too hard to be a job. And plus,
it's too important.
Yeah. And I was going to say, plus, you know, we have another burden that we have to carry, and that's because as followers of Christ, we have a higher calling than just to
take up
get
space.
A message out. It has to be a message that follows the core of who we are.
Yes. And it's, you know, and I don't expect that everyone be a Christian to understand this, but the core tenets of the Bible are just good common sense. You know, love your neighbor and
as yourself.
Yeah, like the 10 Commandments are a pretty good baseline. Okay, so you know how a healthy world works. So exactly. You don't have to be a card carrying Christian to get this. And so I see it, you know, from my perspective, from my chair, from my Christian understanding, is that all truth is God's truth. And when I feel like a speaker, and when I really study and like make sure that I'm not feeling it, because feelings can lie to you, right? But when I believe that one of my speakers has a very important message of truth, that's a mission. That's my mission.
Yeah.
Is to be the guy behind the guy who's truly making the world healthier and better.
Exactly. Wow. What a great place to end our podcast, but to begin the next phase, because if we can make this world a little bit more of a kinder place, we've really done a wonderful thing, haven't we?
Yep, I totally agree. My one of my favorite taglines for my company is we represent the merchants of better in a world that could desperately use some improvement.
Oh, no kidding. So by way of improving, you've got one chance to look out into this audience that we have and say, talk to your 19-year-old self and leave them with a piece of advice that you have earned with hard-fought, hard-won, expensive tuition, and now you're going to give that free tuition to one of our audience members who might be listening and going, wow, this lady is cool. I want to be like her. Give her some encouragement.
Gosh, you know, I was just asked that recently, and I gave such an answer that might feel so discouraging, but I wish that I had told myself this at 19, so I'm going to tell you.
Okay.
Go ahead and love everybody, but it doesn't mean you got to trust them.
Exactly.
That trust has to be earned, and keep your wits about you. Learn what love and trust really mean. And when someone shows you who they are, believe them the first time.
Yeah, you're stealing my keynote. Come on.
Oh, come on.
Trust is both given and earned.
Speakers stealing each other's material is as old as the hill. So it was bound to happen at some point.
I know, but I'm obliged to these NSA standards now, so I have to ask permission.
Thankfully, I'm not a speaker, so I can say what I want.
Exactly. Christa, thanks for joining us, and thanks for being part of the Grampian. It has been so wonderful to finally meet the person behind the Sea Agency who has traveled this road of entrepreneurship and been influential to a lot of people who I met. We appreciate you, and hopefully we can get you back sometime on the Grampian. But until then, folks, thanks for joining, and we so appreciate the audience, and we so appreciate the more than 2,500 people now who subscribe to this silly podcast. We can't figure out why, but it is because of the great guests I have. And thank you very much. This is Jim, and I am out. When you get an opportunity, subscribe or follow wherever you get your podcast.